Welcome everyone, it's Snoo here. We got another 100 map farming session. Been a hot minute since I made one of these, but I got a full day off work, so definitely can pound out 100 maps today, I think. This is going to be a sort of amalgamation of the Glacier, Sentinel Go combined with my sort of Legion on Legion strategy, as well as my more go-to Cemetery Strongbox Brother Stash farming strategy. Kind of throwing everything together. It's going to be an interesting one here to see. I'm not 100% sure what kind of currency per hour I'm going to make with this. I have done a few test runs. Certainly it came out to over 10x an hour on average, but definitely some wild stuff going on here. Here's the major thing right here. We just started off with the most interesting aspect of the strategy is that this will be the first time that I'm doing a sort of formal strategy on Cemetery using the Wandering Path. So again, it is a Legion on Legion strategy, so I really like Legion with the Wandering Path. I think it's actually superior to more traditional farming of Legion, so I'm definitely going pretty deep on the Legion here, basically on account of Templar Legion chance and Marikath Legion chance, while still getting duplicated emblems at nearly the same rate. I actually think Legion is at least marginally better farming it with Wandering Path, but that's just looking at Legion in a vacuum. We also got to consider Strongbox this time, so this is a new one. So I'm going to be dropping all the Strongbox major notables, which is painful. There are some pretty good ones. You got a full Strongbox, extra Strongbox. You got the Scarab Strongbox, 6% chance to spawn that way. You got duplicated currencies and divination cards. Those are some really nice notables to have to drop out. But it turns out that Strongbox does have some pretty good small nodes as well. To make up for those losses, at least in part, I get extra juice from each Strongbox. I go from 60% chance all the way up to over 100% chance to spawn an extra pack of monsters. I go from 6% chance all the way up to 12% chance to reopen the Strongbox. That's pretty huge, actually. That's going to ultimately mean a lot more monsters. And then that at least I think makes up for the loss of one Strongbox completely. And then instead of duplicated currencies and divination rewards, I'm just going to have even more divination and currency or Arcanist Strongbox, because the chance for them to spawn as diviners or Arcanist is now increased by like an extra 60%. So I don't think it completely makes up for the loss of notables. In my mind, just kind of looking at the soft math here, I think it is slightly inferior. Again, just looking at Strongbox in a vacuum, I think this strategy is a little bit inferior to the more traditional route. But again, the little give and take and combining different strategies to see what happens. We come out with it. You'll notice that the Atlas passive trees in general look a lot like the Glacier, Sentinel Go strategies, doing the rare monster duplication, getting all of the increased effect modifiers, non-unique maps, a lot of map duplicated notables here, and then a few little interesting things like increased metamorph chance to randomly spawn. But there are some differences here. I am putting a few points in beyond, because of course sometimes you run beyond maps, and then with this much increased effective modifiers, non-unique maps, 13% beyond roll actually becomes 20%. So it's like mega juice beyond with just one source of beyond. I do like having at least a little bit, tapping into that bonus a little bit. I don't feel terribly bad about losing the experience down here, and I obviously can't get the 3% beyond, so that hurts a little bit. So I will not have beyond on every map. But yeah, not too bad. Definitely going to be going Searing Exarch because I cannot get Shadow of Hunger, so that's kind of a loss. Definitely altars are going to come out negative. Altars definitely worse with Wandering Path, generally speaking, so that is a little bit of a hit. And then for this particular strategy, I'm going to run a Delirium Mirror every single map, and the reason that is because, well, I mean, for one thing, I cannot do Fortune Favors the Brave. For the 10% pack size, 10% quantity. I could do Domination, but Shrines are also a little bit down. Shrines is an interesting one. Shrines actually have increased duration, more duration than normal with the Wandering Path, but I think 10% less effect. It's still good. A 10% reduced effect compared to the traditional route. And then I cannot get a Covetous Shrine, and I cannot get an extra shrine effect per shrine. So definitely, like, as far as just the power of shrines is concerned, definitely coming out down a little bit negative here. So domination, I was on the fence about it, but I had realized that at a certain point, when you're juicing the map enough, going Delirium Mirror is totally worth it. It's totally worth it because there's so many extra monsters on the map, and Delirium Mirrors actually put more monsters on the map than Delirium Orbs. I'm personally not a huge fan of Delirium Orb farming, and the main reason is because of the inconvenience of having to roll the maps. It takes a whole bunch of extra time and headache to do that. Why not just use the Sextant, where you increase the... Or you get pre-rolled maps for free, effectively. Maps found in your maps are corrupted with 8 modifiers. I absolutely love that Sextant to help me with the self-sustain in a major way. And I don't mind the maps being harder, okay? So the downside to that strategy is so the upside is that you're saving a whole bunch of time on the back end, but the downside is that the maps are a lot harder, obviously. They're a lot harder this route. And the maps are extra hard this route because of 4% increased effective modifiers, non-unique maps. In fact, these maps are so hard that I've had to drop Animate Guardian. I can't run it. It just died too many times. I've lost too much currency. Running Animate Guardian, so I've switched back into my Ballista Totem setup. I'm kind of all ears for any suggestions, actually, for a 6-link. I basically have a free 6-link to work with. I'm not really sure what to put in it. I like my aura setup here in getting the free 10% cost and reservation multiplier here. I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe fit in an extra aura. I'm not really sure. I don't like losing all the life regen too. My character's a little weak on the regen right now because I lost the stone golem, and I also have only slight chaos res. So yeah, there's a lot of give and take here, and I'm kind of all ears. If you have a suggestion for a 6-link, a really good 6-link, love to hear it in the suggestions. I've looked at some of the more similar geared characters on PoE Ninja, and I just can't really find anything that suits me well other than, I guess, just a Ballista Totem setup, which isn't bad. You know, it's not bad. Sentinels making the monsters a lot more tanky. Having that extra DPS is meaningful at certain times. So back to the last thing I just wanted to mention is that where it's convenient, I went ahead and got some simulacrum points in here for some extra chance of rewards, because I'm running a Deli Mirror on every single map. I'm going to be using Kirik's bench for the Deli Mirror. It's 16 chaos per usage. That is expensive, but I get on average at least 1 Deli Orb per map. So I more than make up the currency just in Deli, and that's not even counting like the regular Deli rewards. So it shouldn't be an issue, and it's just going to be so many extra monsters. I'm going to see extra brother stashes. How many brother stashes am I going to see in 100 maps? I honestly don't know. It's hard to tell because on the whole, I'm going to have way less Beyond than I did last season. But running a Deli Mirror on every single map, I mean, that is going... Last season, I averaged about 5 brother stashes in the end, when I had my character basically fully fleshed out, magic find and all. And here we are. I mean, we're back in business here. I'm running a Raider, magic find, tornado shot hybrid class here. Got my mirror bow. Gear is getting pretty close to done, honestly. Got the Headhunter. Headhunter is obviously changed this season. We're running a lot slower than we were last season, but way tankier. So I mentioned I had to switch out the Animate Guardian. I'm usually not in any threat of dying, even in the most outrageous scenarios, like Sentinel Infused Legion. Monsters filling up the whole screen, pounding on me. Probably won't even take damage from it in many situations if I have at least like 40 Headhunter buffs. But my Animate Guardian, I mean, he'll just die in the blink of an eye in that. So yeah, this season's kind of hard to master in terms of balancing your own defenses and Animate Guardian's defenses. Anyway, for now, I'm shelving the Animate Guardian. So that's a little bit of a PSA there. Yeah, I think we talked about everything there. We really need to talk about. I suppose I could switch from Dance of Destruction all the way to Wellspring of Creation, maybe deal with it there. But again, I'm so tanky personally. I think it's just better if I clear the maps more quickly and get in and out and just deal with not having an Animate Guardian at all. So, recap: farming brother stashes. So we have strong boxes via Delirium Mirrors, Legions as well. We got no breach this time, unfortunately, because we can't get flash breach. and I've replaced Breach with something new we couldn't do last season. Last league is Polished Elder Scarab. So we can now run an Elder Influence, and it's not going to take any extra time. It's going to put a lot of extra monsters on the map. I even considered running Hunted Traders as a Sextant, but I don't really have the room for the Sextant right now. So we got Divination, we got Ambush, we got Legion. I am going to run Gilded Legion Scarabs because I want the boss to spawn each time, because it is still sort of the Legion on Legion strategy. I need that boss to spawn. He's going to drop a lot of splinters and some raw emblems at times, and the map's going to be extra challenging, but yeah, not for the faint of heart. If you want to do this strategy, you gotta have a really well geared character. I definitely don't recommend doing this unless you have a Headhunter. I wouldn't even recommend doing this with Mageblood, to be honest. Maybe Mageblood and Inspired Learning. We're going to be running Gloomshine still, so I was a little bit on the fence about Gloomshine. In the event that I'm trying to sustain maps, I will drop the Gloomshine in that case, but I really like Gloomshine, especially on Delhi Mirror maps or Delhi maps, to really help with the clear. And then, and of course, you know, I'm still running the Gull and the Shrine node, so Gloomshine's still obviously really good. Strongbox, I'm running elevated. Now, elevated strongboxes have increased in price. For some reason, I bought a ton of these at 60 chaos a piece, but they're more than that now. They're upwards around 100 chaos a piece. I am going to price point these at 80 chaos a piece, okay? Now, that's just me being fair. I think the more true price, I expect them to go down in price pretty shortly. I really do want to have that elevated strongbox if I can, because I'm losing a strongbox from the notables due to Wandering Path. So we got a couple of elevated sextants there, and then we got the classic quantity unelevated. That's at 30 chaos a piece. And then we got Legion encounters. I bought massive bulk of these for 7 chaos a piece. The Gloomshines are 20 chaos a piece. All of the sextants, and as well as the 16 chaos per map from the Delhi Mirror, is all price pointed into here. 17 or so Exalt, and what that totaled to is, verify one time, 30.82x. Well, still the same. Okay, and there is everything right there. So again, the raw exalts and chaos orbs are making up for the sextant and the Delhi Mirror used every single map. Definitely higher investment cost, about 55 chaos per map in total. I'd still call this a semi-juicing strategy because it's still mainly fairly cheap sextants and polished scarab, one gilded scarab because I kind of have to. The last thing to mention here is, well, the second to last thing to mention here is that I do have, of course, all 8 modded corrupted maps. I'm starting off with a nice selection of maps. In here, they are fairly challenging. There is no elemental reflect. That's the only mod I can't run currently because I cannot get 100% reduced cost of tornado shot. It's 24. I'm going to use my quicksilver. It's down to 10. And then 9 for the ballista totem setup. I recently actually had to switch over to a life tap support because I didn't have enough mana. I realized I was playing for a few days, I think, without having enough mana to pull off Sniper's Mark because it costs a lot. So yeah, I had to switch over to, I just had to switch out and enhance for that, so it wasn't a big deal. But putting my Withering Step and Sniper's Mark on hit on a life tap support was a very good idea in the event that I just literally can't even cast marks because I don't have enough mana for it. All right, and the very last thing we're going to, sorry, this one has a little bit of extra prep time to discuss. Sentinels. So I haven't really talked a whole lot about Sentinels, but I'm just going to scroll here so you can see the Sentinels. You can see there are pretty valuable Sentinels, a lot of alternative quality Sentinels. I'm to a point now where I'm like massively over sustaining Sentinels. I'm beginning to just sell them. I'm like I'll have a premium roll. I'll have a couple of Sentinels both with premium rolls, and I'll just combine them anyway to hope to combine the 2 premium rolls, even though the smarter thing would probably be to run it and then combine them. I just don't have enough time to run them, and I just keep over sustaining them. You're going to see in this farm just how many... I only have rare obsidian sentinel bases on my loot filter right now, and I'm just swimming in them in the end. I identify so many of them, and I realize it's smart to just combine them with power cores, just even if they're trash mod, because they will transform occasionally into, well, either like a unique apex sentinel, like one of these, or and you'll just literally make money doing that, or they'll transform into a special base, and then I could try to throw a good mod into the special base that way. So I'm getting super strict with my sentinels. They all have at least 2 premium rolls on them, rewards. A lot of them have quantity. In this case, I'm getting a lot of quantity sentinels out of the way here. So yeah, that's all the sentinels I'm using. I know some of you guys maybe don't have sentinels this good. Again, if you're juicing your maps up a lot and you're just constantly running that content, you can make your loot filter pretty strict. You're just going to be swimming in sentinels. Look at this. I have so many extras. I don't even know what to do with these. These are all very good sentinels. I'm to a point where I'm starting to sell them. I just don't have the room to keep them anymore. I mean, these are really, really good. I mean, we got expedition rewards in here, all with like quantity, like tier 1 currency, tier 2 legion, you know, stuff like that. I may make a video actually on that, how I got mine. I do buy sentinels occasionally. I have a live search set up, but I'm to the point where I'm not hardly buying any of them anymore. And I'm basically just picking them up off the ground and recombinating them and being smart about it and just getting a ton of sentinels. So again, if you take any issue with the quality of my sentinels, they just are what they are. I mean, these are self-sustained. I'm not calculating in the cost of the sentinels into this strategy, but I'm also not going to be calculating any sort of rewards in that sense. So I may get some insane sentinels in this farming strategy, but I'm not going to count them towards the profit. So sentinels are set aside in terms of investment and profits. I'm not counting them in anything. Of course, the rewards that drop from them, we're going to count those. So let me do one last reset here. Again, apologies about the extra prep time, but I think it was necessary, so you guys could kind of get an idea about how we're combining basically three separate strategies into one, and I think it's going to result in some interesting currency per hour statistics. Okay, so I got to pull all of this out. Also not exactly sure how long it's going to take me to do each map. This should be fairly fast. Doing maps, because I only have Legion to do basically, and then Strongboxes. Pretty easy. So we're gonna start with a pretty nice map. I do have a good Beyond map. I have a lot of 8 mod corrupted Beyond maps, because again, I mean, just tons of maps drop from the strategies. The self-sustain is ridiculous. But here we go. I'm not going to be running Alva. Actually, I'm not going to run Alva. I'm not a huge fan of running Alva because it just takes a lot of extra time. I am a big fan of running Alva if you're doing majorly juiced content. But in the event that you're not, I don't think it's that great. Alright, so here we go. Now I am quite squishy. It is quite dangerous right off the bat. Because this is the Delhi mirror, I am going to try and sort of stay close at first. It is kind of smart to come back to the beginning of the map like this. I already have an echoing shrine, so I'm like immediately super strong. Great altar there. Altars are going to be less valuable than usual because I'm not running Eater of Worlds with the increased altar chance, but yeah, I will go ahead and use the mechanics. So here we go. We got a nerfed Legion. You can no longer easily trigger Legions, but you can see I got a super strong Pandemonium hit there. No problem. Cleared everything. It's actually pretty easy because the Legion was sort of condensed into that one area. Don't have to worry about the Animate Guardian time. Like, my Animate Guardian would have probably died right there. It just would have died right there if I had done what I did right there. So it's so hard to keep that Animate Guardian alive while trying to do Legions with Pandemonium Sentinel. Okay, I got a boss room here. Might as well go in. Can actually even get a Harbinger reward there, but nothing dropped, unfortunately. So I used to make sure I cleared the map and got all the altars first because I wanted the altar rewards, but I think with this strategy it's probably better to just kind of clear the map from the go. Especially because there's a Delhi mirror on every single one of them. I'm going to showcase here just how strong my character is defensively. Although I do have a lot of altar rewards. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Do I take any damage? Look at that. I barely take damage. Okay, that was an entire screen full of Sentinel-infused Legion monsters. And I sat there for like 5 seconds and you barely saw my energy shield go down. So that's what Headhunter is doing for us now. And I also have like 6 or 7 juiced up altar effects on me that I don't even read. I don't even know what they are, but presumably they're making me a lot weaker defensively. But yeah, it just doesn't matter. I have 40 Headhunter buffs. And you can't really seem to get any more than 40 Headhunter buffs. It seems to be kind of close to the maximum. I've seen as many as about 50 before at once. Somebody had asked a while back about replica Headhunter potentially to try and get them. I'm kind of against it. I think, honestly, I mean, you saw how easy that was. Do I really need more Headhunter buffs? Is it really necessary? I would say yes if, for example, the... replica Headhunter gave me some sort of insane movement speed Headhunter buff that I cannot access with the traditional Headhunter. Then I would be very interested. But I have hasted on here. You can see the green swirls there. That has given me about 50% increased movement speed, but it's nothing else crazy. Okay, so here we got, okay, this is very typical, 12% chance now, not 6%, but 12% chance for reopening of Strongbox. You can see Assassin is forcing me to teleport a lot. I know a lot of people are complaining about Headhunter Assassin. Yeah, I kind of get it, but again, with this build, stuff just gets deleted on the screen. If I'm suffering from teleports now, all I do is I just hold my right click for a few seconds and every single monster on my screen is dead, and I'm not teleporting if every single monster on my screen is dead. So it's kind of call it a workaround, I guess. But it's pretty easy to work around, honestly. Alright, so the drops were decent, I guess. I didn't see any... Legion rewards seemed pretty lackluster there, but... did get 1 Templar. Legion. But that's it. You can see I ended up with a full inventory there. So I already got... How many Sentinels was this? Obsidian Sentinel bases? I got 6, so that's pretty typical. That's a lot of Sentinel bases. Over time. That's going to be a lot of bases. They're going to accumulate. In fact, somewhere around the halfway mark of this session, because I'm going to do 50 maps first and 50 maps later, probably. I might split 33 maps a piece. But anyway, oh yeah, I got 2 dusts there. Let's see, what is this worth these days? 30 chaos. That right there might be the best unique I get all for 100 maps. That might be the best unique. And it's because uniques are really hard to get. Like high value uniques are hard to get this season. This is definitely the kind of season where you don't have to feel bad about not running a rarity support. So on my 6th link, I could be running a rarity support right now, but I don't even think it's worth it. I'd rather have the extra damage. And yeah, okay, I guess I'll find maybe 1 fewer Headhunter this league. Maybe. I don't know. I'll find a few less Aegis auras, I suppose. I'm not going to do the Legion yet. I don't feel quite strong enough yet. I need at least 1 decent string. Okay, so I actually have 3 Legions this map. This happens sometimes. Of course. I do like the Gloom Shrine better for Legion. I'm able to pull off the Pandemonium Sentinels. I actually... It's interesting... Legion in conjunction with Pandemonium Sentinels is way harder than it used to be. But it's actually coming out in favor, like enormously in favor for me. Because what's happened is a lot of people have stopped farming Legion, naturally. And so what does that mean? It means Legion prices have gone up. Over time. They've gone up. And that's good for me. Because I can still farm Legion without any major issue. It's slightly more annoying. It's ever so slightly more time consuming. But, you know, the Legion emblems are now worth at least 1x a piece. I think they're actually on their way to being worth more than 1x a piece for the latter part of this season. And that's really exciting. Because I'm gonna make even more currency per hour than I would have otherwise. Legion was beginning to lose its sort of lucrativeness, I guess you could say, because just so many people were farming it because it was the mechanic to do with Sentinel. Okay, I think there's one in a temporal bubble there, so I'm just gonna leave them. I'm having to kind of deal with the deli mirror. That's why you keep seeing me backpedal constantly, back upwards. I'm trying to hold this deli mirror where it is. Okay, there we go. We did it. So I'd say that was pretty much flawless there with the legions. I got 2 of them. I got the big Pandemonium Sentinel hit, and the other one I got a lot of Stalker on. Some of the Sentinels I'm running are Legion rewards, but not all of them. I'm trying to sort of parse them out so that I can somewhat self-sustain the incubators. These kind of incubators are worth a lot. Actually, a little bit unlucky. I have 5 full Legion encounters now. I haven't seen a single America Legion yet. It's actually quite common with this setup to see it. There's a full Templar emblem. That's nice. More obsidian bases. So many of them. Probably about time that I start restricting my loot filter a little bit more. I'm not really sure if I feel like it's worth dropping Chaos Orbs. There we go. Another. I'm pretty sure I got 1 Delirium Orb last map, and I got 1 this map. Pretty much getting your money back every time. If you're wondering what the rate, how the game determines drops for Delirium Orbs, I think it's just the sheer number of monsters you kill. I don't think it has much to do with sort of how deep you were in the mirror or anything like that. I feel like if I was doing Tropical Island versus Cemetery, it's still about the same rate of Delirium Orbs. Obviously, way less Simulacrum Splinters, though. Way less than that. I guess that actually is worth selling there. Decent roll.
Hello. Go with courage.
Only 4 Sentinels out of that. That's what you call bad results. A lot of little currency that'll definitely add up. Again, I don't know how many brother stashes. I'm kind of expecting, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. Maybe 7. I'm hoping for at least 6 in 100 maps. Again, that's with the deli mirror on every single map. I think it is reasonable to expect maybe about 6 brother stashes in total today in this 100 map session. There's the Metamorph monster. I like the Metamorph. It gives like 10 free rares on the map spawn from that guy, so that's super nice. In case you're wondering, look at this. This is why this is incredible. 75% increased pack size, 250% increased quantity. I mean, this is like 20 to 30% more pack size, quantity, and rarity on maps by doing these 8 mod corrupted maps. It's just so much extra pack size. And yeah, I love it because it makes the map a lot harder. Definitely feel like there's a decent reward for it. See, I can be sort of nonchalant about the Pandemonium Sentinel. It's not risky. You know, people were talking about like, oh, you can't do it now because you'll just die. You know, and yeah, that's true. If you're not wearing a Headhunter, I probably would just die right there. But I can just sit there and honestly, guys, I think it's even better than it was because now I can sort of really anticipate where the heart of the Legion is. I can get maximum monsters under the effects of the Pandemonium Sentinel. I can basically target, maneuver where the Pandemonium Sentinel drops. There we go. I got a little lucky there. My rampage started screwing me over a little bit for a second, but I pulled that off barely. Double reopening strongboxes next to each other. Royal medallions, nice. This is not an expedition reward Sentinel, but it just randomly gave me expedition rewards anyway. tend to use the Stalker Sentinel when I go into the boss room. Or actually when I use my first Legion. So watch how fast the Stalker Sentinel thing goes off. I don't have to worry about dying. I can just come in here, 100% phasing. Just wreck everything right there. Very easy going. And this is what we call a very hard map. I mean, this is the mods on this map are. I don't know. Let's take a look at it again. We got a whole bunch of monster crit, temporal chains, fizz is extra lightning. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And like busted numbers. Enormous increased effective modifiers on these maps. I will eventually die, there's no doubt about it, and when I do, it'll probably come at the beginning of the map before I really ramp up my Headhunter buffs. Or at the end of the map when I start taking damage over time, because that can happen as well. Oh jeez. Let me drop it please. Too much stuff on the ground. Another reopened Strongbox. Oh no, I didn't want to. Okay. Once again, I think I'm actually going to have to go back to town and come back out on this one. There's a lot of loot on this map. But it's just not something I want to do. Hey, raw exalted orb. Finally. It's pretty unlucky. It's got 8 maps. 8 Delhi mirror maps with raw exalted orb. Oh, another. Hey! Well, this is going to be a nice highlight reel. Got my first Raw Exalt and first Brothers Dash back to back in the same 5 seconds of one another. I like that. Haven't even triggered a Sentinel yet. America Splinter just dropped as I triggered my Stalker Sentinel before I even pressed the Legion. Like, how is that dropping? It's not a Legion monster. Oh yeah, that's juicy. That's juicy right there. That's how you do it. That's how you do the Pandemonium Sentinel these days, my friends. Here, I'll show you again. There it is. We got 1,000 Rampage stacks. Rampage not going to screw me over. Oh, a little bit left up here, maybe. A little bit down here. Oh, that guy right there is still alive. Okay. Whoa, there you go. Juicy enough. Now, you might have thought I was going to die there, but no, I can't die. I could just stand here and look at my health. Oh no, I'm dying. I'm dying! Oh no! So strong. 50 Headhunter buff. It's so brain dead now. I honestly wish they would nerf Headhunter because it's so ridiculously brain dead. Can't die. Can't die with the buffs. They weren't kidding. They said the arch nemesis. I mean, we know how powerful the arch nemesis buffs. When I am an arch nemesis monster with 50 sets of arch nemesis buffs. How powerful do you think I am right now? Yeah, if you thought an arch nemesis monster with 2 or 3 arch nemesis mods was bad, what do you think of a player that has 50 of them at once? It should come to no surprise that I'm basically unkillable in this given moment. So, completely unnecessary amount of power. Way more than it ought to be. And to last for 60 seconds is just ridiculous. It's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary amount of power. As much as I enjoyed the Soul Eater, Soul Thirst playstyle, I mean, it's got nothing on this. Headhunter, you wouldn't become like straight up immortal. Like I couldn't sit. Oh wow! Did you guys see that? You know what that was from? That was from an incubator. Apparently, 2 of my currency incubators went off at the same time, and they both gave me an Exalted Orb. And I'll keep saying it to the day I die. The incubators are really, really good in this game. And it's another reason why I love doing Legion. On the back, As much as I don't like the process of having to remember to put incubators on my gear like every run, it's a little annoying. Clearly it's worth it. Clearly. If I'm gonna get that kind of stuff. It reminded me of I made up for the double currency drops with double like Beyond Boss double drop like that. It's just ridiculous. It would be like running around in Scourge. Like, I almost wonder what Headhunter right now would have been like in Scourge League. Probably could have just tanked the 300 stack Scourge monsters. Honestly. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, totally carries. I'm gonna laugh so much if they actually nerf it for next season. Like, if they, like, they'll probably just like barely nerf it, and then people will freak out. They'll be like, "Oh my God, how could you nerf Headhunter? It's already terrible. It's already bad," or something like that. That's what people will be like. What? What? What is that? I don't even have duplicated divination cards, Strongboxes. Oh, that dropped from the monsters that spawned from the Strongbox, and I must have had a duplicated divination card altar chance. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? That's actually the first time that's happened to me. It's the first time I've seen divination card altar duplication pay off on a brother's stash before. Honestly, I feel a bit overdue for that thing that just happened right there, considering how many of these maps I've ran. Wow! 10x in the bag. We're well ahead of schedule now. I mean, this is 3 brother stashes in like 15 maps or something. I don't even know, like maybe about 15 maps. Not as exciting as an apothecary drop, but yeah, still pretty good. Actually target farming. Successfully target farming. Divination card. Oh, red star. What is that? A brother stash. Oh! Wow. I got caught with my pants down, I guess, looking at the brother stash. Whoa, look at that. This map is strange. It's like, started off very few monsters on the map. I don't know what the deal is. Let me try to go back here and carefully whoop, pick that up before any sort of insane accidents happen again. Oh my god. Almost feel like my buttons are not working right. Alva? Alva here. I can't even wait on this anymore. I actually have to run this now. Unless I want to lose the mirror. So that is Brother Stash number 4, map number 33. No, 34. Sorry. 34. Alright, maybe get some Headhunter buffs now and it can actually survive. Oh, whoops. Here's my crappy Pandemonium Sentinel. Actually, I may just save it. That was so bad. A raw exalt and a brother stash popped out of it. Yeah, go figure. Like lowest performance ratio, highest reward ratio. Okay. Man. There's a Pandemonium Sentinel. Whee! Yeah. Like, oh, that's weird. It's like not going off at all. Huh. Actually, maybe you can't. So I tried to switch out Pandemonium Sentinel in the middle of the map. Like I ported back to town. But yeah, it's not letting me do that actually. It's so interesting. Maybe I'm just not learning this. Can't. Apparently you. Okay, I didn't realize this, but apparently you cannot use the last use of your old Sentinel, port to town, switch it out the new Sentinel and then start using the new Sentinel, even though I have 2 uses of it. So I didn't realize that. Okay, actually I didn't mess up anything at all, evidently. Ironic. Oh my god. Oh.
My mana is gone.
Wow, these rewards in this map. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. You only got 2 brother stashes and 100 maps? I'm guessing you're not juicing them up like I'm doing here, though. If you are, that's really bad luck, but I'm guessing you're not doing it like this. Because if you are, you're going to get way more than 2 on 100 maps on average. There's just... I can say that definitively, as I think I've ran enough maps to know for sure. Of course, this right here is a brand new strategy, but I mean, hypothetically, it should give even more rewards than the others because there's just more quantity and more pack size and stuff. The only thing that's really missing here is Breach, which you know, obviously is a hit, but not too bad, I guess. Red star. Wow. Well, that is crazy. So I've split this session up into 3 parts. I did 33 maps. Then I did a second set, 34, and then I'm doing the last 33. At the start of both the second and the third set now. The very first map among, as I came back from the break. The very first map, Brother Stash. Both set. A welcome surprise. So we're now at basically exactly where I anticipated I would be. I suspected I would get 6 or 7 Brother Stashes. I now have 6, although one of them was doubled, so perhaps 7 or 8 is more like what I will find in 100 maps, given that one of them was doubled, would be the average. I'd be quite pleased if that happened. I don't think it's really outside the realm of possibility, and it's because I have a deli mirror on every single map. I mean, that is a huge increase in the number of monsters on the map. Perhaps more than what Beyond would give you under normal circumstances. Although I could be wrong. This is something I haven't really tested a whole lot. I've tested various thresholds of Beyond, but not so much on the deli mirror side of things. So we're getting some good information here. Deli mirror might be stronger than I initially expected. Or maybe I'm just really lucky. I don't know. Hard to say. Oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Woo! Red star, not even America's emblem. Yeah, I expect to see America's emblem to be red stars. Like that, right there.
My mana is full.
And a Templar. Well, that is some classy drops right there in this little corner. Basically a perfect Legion. Be a little disappointed if you hadn't. Given where you are.
I'm not aggressive.
Whoa! Whoa! Not so fast. Oh man. Well, it's a good sign when you know you've actually lost count of how many brother stashes you found in 100 maps. I honestly can't even remember what the number is. Should I risk death to find out? Sure, I think it'll be alright if I do that. Probably be alright. 6, 7. Okay, that is number 7. 6 if you count a duplicated one.
My mana is gone.
And yeah, I think we're definitely a little ahead of schedule. But again, I'm not super strong on the odds for this farm. A little bit unknown. I wasted too much time. I can't even do that. I just lost my deli mirror completely right there. Oh man, so bad. I still got an orb. Alright. Get my revenge here. Maybe get a couple Maricut emblems. Or another brother stash. I haven't found a brother stash out of a Legion chest yet. So I'm thinking maybe that'll be the next place. I got one. Could happen. Alright guys, it is that time again. The usual time to check in on 100 Cemetery Maps Wandering Path, combining 3 major different strategies, more or less the Sentinel and Go, that has been very popular this entire season. It's not exactly Sentinel and Go, but certainly well within the spirit of Stalker and Pandemonium Sentinels, getting in and out of maps fairly quickly. That in conjunction with the Legion strategy. I did use some Legion reward Sentinels on there, not all, of course, but definitely went pretty hard on the Legions. Doing it on the Cemetery, however, because the third triangulation of the strategy was the old standard divination card brother stash farming via increased quantity sextants with strong boxes, and making even that work with a wandering path build. I wasn't really sure exactly how this whole thing would tie together, because it's definitely definitely a triangulation type strategy going on. Well, the results are, we're about to find out. I kind of already have a pretty good idea. Suffice to say, I was more than pleased with how it turned out. I feel like my RNG was a little bit on the positive side, but nothing too crazy, nothing outside the realm of, you know, no Headhunter, no Mageblood, no Natural Instinct, no insane uniques. I did find 7 brother stashes in total. I don't think that was actually well within the range of what I expected, given the fact that I was slamming a deli mirror on every single map. I was expecting at least as many brother stashes as I would get normally last season with the same strategy, running Beyond instead of deli mirror, because I remember my chances of finding brother stashes definitely went up dramatically on maps that randomly spawned with the deli mirror last league. Alright, so we got the usual picture here. Just public service announcement, I did actually go ahead and clean up all of this stuff. I've even ran I ran some temples for double corruptions on the gems that I leveled up, so I will not be showcasing myself Valorbing a bunch of gems. The reason for that is because the gems have started to climb up in price. Awakened Enhanced supports are now upwards of 7 to 8 exalts a piece. Just to purchase them, they used to be only about 5 exalts a piece. Consequently, they are selling not for about 30-35 exalts, but more like 50 to 55 exalts a piece at level 5. So that is a sort of monetary threshold where it's actually worth buying the lens and taking that thing to the double corruption gem chamber and doing that. I also double corrupted some boots, these gold worms, trying to get an upgrade. Didn't get an upgrade for that, unfortunately, but yeah, I probably should have streamed that, but I was a little tired, so I've been streaming a lot this past couple of days. And so also I wanted to tell you that I have pulled 16 total sets of emblems out. Why did I do that? For the same reason I did it with the Legion and Go strategy, because emblems in full sets sell for way more than they sell apart. Even with Mariketh emblems selling by themselves at a price point of, what, 90 chaos apiece? Yeah, 89.5 chaos apiece. Doesn't matter. The entire sets sell for at least an Exalt. You can verify that yourself right now on TFT. To be honest with you guys, when I made the Legion and Go strategy, the price point had begun to slip under 1 Exalt per set. However, after they did this horrible change where they made Legion Stasis no longer susceptible to Stalker Sentinels or Pandemonium Sentinels, then it made a whole wave of people move out of Legion farming and into some other form of farming. So they stopped farming Legions with Pandemonium Sentinels, and therefore the supply of Legion sets, emblems, has gone down dramatically. And therefore the price point has begun to shift back upwards. Actually has momentum right now. I suspect we might see full Legion sets start selling for 1.1 to 1.2 Exalts per set here in the relatively near future. I could be wrong, but that might happen, because certainly the demand for 5-way farmers has not gone down much at all. We're right in the middle of the league, and it's a pretty high demand at this time. So that's a big thing. So I got all of these gems. I'm not hovering over them on purpose yet. They are all corrupted already. But I am valuing them all at 1 Exalt apiece, which is being super conservative. Yes, I even have 3 Awakened Elemental Damage with Supports gems in here, because lo and behold, in 100 Delhi mirrored maps, I was actually able to manage, barely able to manage, a full set of Awakened gems from start to finish. And I was able to level an entire 2 sets of Awakened Exceptional gems thanks to this wonderful, wonderful bow right here that I've crafted for myself. And I can't speak highly enough of this thing. Having these gems level at a rate of 220% increased experience makes this just a powerhouse for currency level. I got to thinking about this recently, and I had mentioned previously that I thought the currency per hour's threshold of what that amounted to on the back end with gem leveling was something like 10 to 15%. In actuality, it's probably more like 20 to 25%. Yes, 20 to 25% of all currency I make while farming is probably from leveling gems at this point anyway, and corrupting them, especially if I corrupt, especially if they keep getting more and more expensive and I start corrupting them in the double corruption chambers with good odds. I mean, I got to be a little patient for the sale, but I mean, it's really good. So let's get into this. I want to first take a look at, just kind of show you what we have here. So we have 7 brother stashes, normal right there. We've got 19 exalted orbs. Now this would seem a little high, except I was doing Delhi mirrors, and I was doing an enormous amount of legions with high quantity as well. So a lot of these exalted orbs dropped from legion, tons of them, and I got tons of raw divine orbs. So that's kind of a good checkpoint. For anyone who's wondering if you get really lucky on Exalted Orbs, how many raw Divine Orbs are dropping? Because they have the same drop rate, and I saw plenty of them. I honestly feel like I still saw more raw Divine Orbs than I did raw Exalted Orbs. Maybe not. Farmed a lot of cemetery maps to replace the stash here. I got 4 invitations, which is normal in 100 maps. A lot of sections here, a lot of raw Chaos. My loot filter is still not, I've still not decided to tighten it up beyond Chaos Orbs. I'm not sure if I will or not. The Jeweler Recombinators, I did run a lot of Sentinels with Sentinel rewards, and these drop whether you run them or not. We got some stack decks, which I will hopefully remember to do at the very, very end of this for the gamble. Still got 7 Mariketh emblems, because actually the shortest emblem supply was eternal emblems of all things. Usually it is the Val emblems, but I got unusually good RNG with Val emblems. That one is usually the lowest count, and I got unusually bad RNG with eternal emblems apparently. So eternal emblems was the lowest count of the group. Got 11 simulacrums, so very ever so slowly increase my simulacrum count just doing cemetery maps. I only got like, God, I only got like 20 to 70 simulacrum splinters per map. 70 was pretty rare to see. Templar emblems, I think Templar emblems are quite often the highest. Here's the first major unique and the only decent unique that dropped. It's actually gone down in value quite a bit, but the Badge of the Brotherhood is still worth well over 1 exalt. Let's actually take a look at uniques here. We got a 2 dust here. We got a couple soul takers. Prism Guardian's gone up in value a little bit, but yeah, everything else kind of small. Really, it's the Badge of the Brotherhood. It's carrying everything else here. So there is one, and that's totally to be expected. At least one. I would expect to get at least like an Aegis or a Badge of the Brotherhood or something, at least one of them in an entire 100 runs. I do have, it is an actual Magic Find hybrid character with the, at the very least, with the Alchemist Gold Flask of the Order there, so
My mana is gone.
kind of expecting to get a little bit better RNG on the uniques. Sentinels also dropped quite a few uniques. Here's an interesting one. I had mentioned earlier in this session that I anticipated I would get at least 1 Deli Orb per 1 map on average. And we'll see here, I actually counted, I forgot what the count was, it was in the 90s. So I was just shy of 1 Deli Orb per map. And you can see here that the total value I got here is just way, way beyond. I mean, oh yeah, well not way, way beyond, but actually it almost completely covers the cost of the Delimir's, because it cost me 1600 chaos to run 100 maps with the Delimir, because it's 16 chaos per map. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at it right here, it's a 1639 chaos for the entire collection of Deli Orbs. And oh, by the way, guess what? Deli Orbs sell at a price point of about 130% value when you bulk sell them on TFT. So actually, these are honestly worth at least 2K. There's at least 2,000 chaos in here if and when I sell these at a bulk pricing on TFT. So there's just another item that is being conservatively estimated, if you will. Continuing on the theme of conservative look at the currency per hour here, as usual, blueprints are not being counted towards the findings whatsoever. A lot of unusual gems in here. Most of these actually are unusual gems because I have basically everything else off filter. I have a couple of, I have replicas and experimental blueprints also off my filter. That's it. I'm not even looking at contracts. I'm only looking at blueprints that are unusual gems or replicas at this point, and I will kind of sell them a little bit. I don't think I got a logbook to drop at some point, but I don't know, maybe. Also, there's another key item that is not being counted that probably should be, and that is an Enlightened support priced at about 50 chaos. That's not being counted at all. For some reason, Excellence can't see it in the tab. So I'm not worrying about that too much. The maps, a lot of people are kind of questioning the map sales. I sell maps at a higher price than the price point usually. Currently I have my map tab. You can see right here. I sell all these maps I'm looking at. I sell at a price point of I sell 115 chaos for 20. Glaciers and city squares fly off the shelf at that price. Cemetery maybe not quite as much, although I did have somebody buy some recently. So I'm selling maps at nearly 6 chaos a piece in bulk pretty easily. In fact, I got to turn people down a lot because I need to turn around and keep the maps for myself to run the next session. So yeah, that's thing. Also, things like these Eldritch influenced or Elder influenced maps, things do not count at the real price point as well. So it's just, it's kind of the usual picture. A lot of things aren't being counted, so things are kind of conservative there. Where I will not bend over to the conservative side is things like, you know, full price point emblems, because I'm directly target farming emblems in sets, so I am going to count those at the more realistic price of what they sell for, which again, there are some emblems left over, but this is after I pulled out all of these here. So there's 16 full emblem sets that I pulled out, so that means we're going to have to go in here, keep that, and I'm going to have to add 16x to this here. I'm going to also have to add another 15x for the gems here. I kind of scrolled over there. You might have seen the results on a few of those. So we're going to check the X per hour right now. And to do that, first thing we're going to do, take one final snapshot to see what we're at. Should say up here. Okay, 135.9 is the number. That's a lot of exalts. A lot of exalts in 100 maps, especially for not an insane investment. The investment was something like 55 chaos per map. So the net, I also, oh yeah, first I gotta add this in. So I'm adding 16 exalts for the 16 full emblem sets, plus 15 exalts for, I'm price pointing each of these gems that I fully leveled as 1x a piece. That's super conservative, by the way, especially if you consider just average RNG results with corrupting those gems and the price and the value you get out of that. So that's 29 additional exalts that is being thrown in here. I think that's totally fair, especially since, you know, I'm really only like adjusting these sorts of things in my favor in a point where they're predictable profits and they're explicitly being target farmed in this way. I am explicitly leveling gems on purpose to make a profit this way. I'm explicitly farming full sets, but I am not counting things like breach rings. I mean, there actually are some breach rings in here, even though I didn't specifically target farm breach. A few, not counting them because it's just not enough to really amount to anything, and it's not what I was target farming for after all. So here it is, 164. And again, if you want to check all this stuff, I did split up the session, but this is all going to be piecemeal together in 4 separate parts on the Twitch stream, which you can check on the description below. You can see it all there, basically uncut. I mean, the cuts are seamless. And let's see here. We got, this should be the real amount. Okay, 134.8x in 100 maps. Now, how long did this take? Because that's a big question. One of my biggest secrets to farming a really high amount of currency per hour is my speed. Now, it's a little harder this season because Headhunter was nerfed a lot, so I'm not flying through the maps like normal. And Delirium mirror maps are always a little bit longer than regular maps. But I was able to do these all in about 8 hours flat. I split the sessions up in 3 parts. It took me almost precisely 2 hours and 40 minutes for all 3 parts. So I did 32 maps. 33 maps, 34 maps, and 33 maps. It was almost exactly 2 hours and 40 minutes to do all of those maps. So that is 8 hours. Now that does not include me going into me cleaning out the Sentinel tabs. I'll talk about the Sentinel tabs at the end. So there is a little bit of extra work on the back end that is not being factored in here. You know how it goes. You know, we don't factor in all of the startup costs, but relatively speaking, this is pretty easy to set up. It's certainly way easier to set up than like rolling beyond on all your maps, trying to get high quantity and all that stuff. All right. Oh yeah, and like winged scarabs and trying to buy things like that in bulk. These are polished scarabs and sextants that are easy to find, relatively easy and cheap sextants to get. So we have 134 exalt divided by 8 hours, and there it is. 16.76. I knew this was right around 17x an hour. I feel right at home. Last league I was playing there towards the end of the league, it was almost like clockwork. I kept getting 17x an hour. Almost didn't matter what I did, what I farmed. I tried various different little tweaks to strategy. It always ended up being right around 17x an hour. That sure seems to be home base for me. Trying to push a little beyond that, but I'm super happy to get that amount now. This is the first time this league that I've cracked over 15x an hour. Definitively over 15x an hour, and this is still really early in the league for that, because usually it gets a little bit easier progressively as you go through the league to farm up the currency per hour like that. If you're farming a lot, I know a lot of people have a harder time making currency throughout the league, but when it comes to like having an already well-established character that is already high performing, and you're making it even higher performing as the league goes on, it actually gets easier, I think, just in terms of raw currency that you're farming. Okay, so there it is, 17x an hour almost. So this is definitely above 15x an hour for a character like mine. Some huge major takeaways from this. Legion is carrying a lot of the weight here. Brother Stashes is carrying a lot of the weight. Sentinels and all the rewards that come from that are carrying a lot of the weight. Most of it is fairly liquidable. Not everything is being counted. Leveling gems is probably one of the biggest things you should be doing. You should definitely, if you're trying to do what I'm doing, you should definitely get a bow. Doesn't have to be this good, but it should be at least half as good as this. And once you start floating some currency, you should be buying awakened enhanced supports and leveling those, or even better. If you don't have the currency, you're not floating the currency, then you should be leveling regular enhanced supports, because even though it would seem like those wouldn't be worth a lot, people still really like the regular enhanced supports for the facetor's lens. It is like the go-to gem for facetor's lens. So you basically, you can never lose money. You can never lose money leveling enhanced supports, regular enhanced supports. And it's also an easy decision just to Val Orb them at the end. Like, it's not worth paying for the double corruption lens. You don't have to, think twice about that. It's super easy to do, and of course they're very easy to buy because they're plentiful in supply. Sometimes I do have to worry a little bit about the supply of these gems. Currently I feel like I'm one of the only people who's doing this, because I am keeping high track of this market. There's not a whole lot of awakened enhanced supports floating out there at any given time, but I'm leveling them like crazy and selling them fairly frequently. So I guess I'm kind of saying I'm a little bit in a league of my own when it comes to leveling enhanced supports, as much as I am right now, but it doesn't have to be that way, obviously there's also awakened empower supports and awakened enlightened supports that need to be leveled as well, and I will be dabbling into those as well. So here's the big question: what were the results from double corrupting each of these? I kind of regret doing it on the awakened elemental damage supports. So this came out negative because all it did was drop the quality, and that actually hurt that a lot. This one came out negative as well because it dropped down one level. I'll need to re-level that again. And this one didn't do anything. So negative result on the awakened elemental damage with attack supports. As for awakened enhanced support, I lost a little bit of quality, but gained a level, and that's all that matters for this. So that is a huge win there. Oh, that's right. What are these worth? Let's see here. A enhanced support right now is selling for not 6.5, over 7x a piece, pretty reliably, around 7.5x a piece right now, between 7 and 7.5. For many days it was selling for about 5, by the way, or 5.5. So that's where it's at right now. Let's see what a corrupted one sells for. A corrupted 4, like a normal one, sells for 3. So you buy it for 7, and you have to sell it for 3 when it breaks. You lose 4x when it doesn't turn up. What is a 5 worth though? 54x. I guess I could probably put this up for 50x and fairly easily make a sale on this, which is kind of crazy. So that's huge. Just getting one of these to turn over, 1 out of 12 is basically means I'm making my money back, more or less. Oh, but I got a second one too. I got another one there. Here's one. Nothing happened. Went down a little on the quality. Up on the quality, doesn't matter. Another 5, and I lost 10% quality, but for this gem it doesn't matter. It's one reason why it's a really good idea to double corrupt these, because you can go up level and lose quality and you're still totally good on that. Nothing happened. Here's one that went down. Actually went down, and it does have the same chance of going down as going up. A 4th one went up to 5, and the rest are all stable. So that's 4 up, 1 down. That's basically 200. This is 200x, guys. This is 200x right here, and I'm in the middle of trying to farm my second mirror. So once I sell these, once I liquidate these, that's it. I basically have a second mirror already done. So yeah, I'm just gonna put these right here. I don't know. I'll try to sell them for. We'll put one for 51x. I guess one for 52x. One for 53x. And one for 50x. And yeah, sure, I mean, somebody will probably undercut me down to like 48, 49x. That's fine. I'm pretty patient with them. I know these are going to sell. They're definitely going to sell. At the very least, they're going to sell for at least 40x. And if they do that, well, then I will have made a lot of money, right? So that is pretty huge, and that is one reason why you guys should be leveling your gym. Now let's assume it was reversed and I got really bad RNG, which means I got 1 up and 3 down, 4 down. I still didn't lose money in that. So long as I get at least 1 up, I'm definitely not losing money. So you guys really ought to be thinking about going big. This is how the rich get richer, by, you know, investing in more and getting more out of it. So that's all I really need to say there. Dump tab's basically done. The next thing to do, the very last thing to do, is the stack deck gamble. So it's about gambling time. I know you guys want to stay for this. Fun story. You're going to want to hear this story before you cancel out of the video. I did test runs on this strategy before, and I actually got really unlucky. I did 32 maps. At first I did 16 maps, only got 1 brother stash. Then I did another test run. I did 32 maps, just like this, and I got 0 brother stash. Really unlucky. Kind of alarming. But I actually made way more money than I did on this entire 100 map set. How? Well, in one of the Sentinel rewards, random Sentinel reward, an apothecary dropped in the cemetery. Randomly, an apothecary dropped in the cemetery. I believe it was from a totally random Sentinel reward. Dropped right in the middle of the run. Obviously, I wouldn't really be able to count that as full value. I mean, that's a 35x card. So, whatever. You know what? And even just with that, I probably wouldn't have told you this, but it's because the next part that I have to tell you this story. So, at the end of the 32 maps, I had, I don't know, like a third of these stack decks. So I had like 120 stack decks. And of course, I did my usual thing. I was doing the whole thing off stream. So unfortunately, none of this is streamed. So I do what I'm doing right now. I go in and I start doing the stack decks. Second apothecary drops from the stack decks on the same day. Basically in the same hour, I got two apothecaries, neither of which dropped from the Crimson Temple, target farmed. They were both just totally random. Completely random apothecary drops from cemetery farming, target farming the brother stash, which gave me 0 brother stashes. So, funny story. I made a lot of currency, obviously. You know, topsy-turvy, I guess, but as you can see, I'm in a pretty good mood because I've been making a frick ton of currency lately. I absolutely have a mirror on me somehow, some way. I just need to liquidate a bunch of stuff. And the mirror prices of mirrors have been skyrocketing. I'm really glad I was kind of getting this out of the way. I only really have a goal of getting 2 mirrors, one for the bow, one for the quiver, just like last league. And yeah, the reason mirrors are going to be so expensive now, they're going to be like way more expensive on standard too, is because of recombinators. Recombinators are crushing the mirror market. So how about this particular session? You know, for once on stream, I'm actually having pretty good RNG. 7 years bad luck and a samurai's eye. Oh, I got a Crimson Temple card, eh? Not the good one, but yeah. Really good results here. Obviously, it pales in comparison to the story that I told you. Kind of makes this look like, you know, poor man's results. But anyway, it was a fun story. It really happened. Off stream, I definitely do seem to get streamers RNG sometimes, but it generally happens off stream. Like the really insane stuff tends to happen off stream. I mean, I should have streamed those double corrupting those 12 awaken enhanced supports, because I got 4 of them to turn over. So I mean that would have been pretty exciting on stream.
My
I think.
mana is gone.
But anyway, what's done is done. Let's finish out these right here, and then we can conclude the video properly. Finally getting a little bit bad RNG, not seeing much drop. Maybe. Oh, yeah, that's right. I almost forgot it. I still need to... The very last thing I need to do, hopefully I don't forget, I need to talk about the Sentinels, because I suspect a lot of you are kind of wondering what is up with the Sentinels. Honestly, I feel like I should make a separate video on this, because I'm able to self-sustain super premium Sentinels. We're talking about Sentinels that are arguably worth at least 1x a piece. That's how good they are. Like they're certainly turning over at least an X, like reliably giving me a full exalt, compared to just what a totally random Sentinel would. So how many Sentinels did I find? I only kept rare quality obsidian-based Sentinels, so Stalker Sentinels and Pandemonium Sentinels. Those are the only ones I kept. I got about 500 of them. 500, guys. Like, I get the Sentinel rolls can be pretty garbage overall. I got 500 of them. And let's see, so we got a Watcher's Eye, that is 60 chaos, and this is 1.7, right, the mirrors are worth a lot more now. So, 7 years bad lucks, 1.7x, I think that's going to carry the profit here, although I got a lot of decent ones here, like a lot of Saint Treasures and stuff. I'm fairly certain I came out ahead, because this was only like 400 cards, maybe. Pretty good results, I'd say, or it certainly feels like it was. I don't know 100% for sure, but yeah. Very last thing, here we go. So when I started this run, you can double check the beginning of the video. I had an entire column of Stalker Sentinels. I had 2 entire columns of Pandemonium Sentinels. As you can see, I overestimated how many I would need, and I still have a bunch left over. I scrolled through all of them. You could see what it was at the time. Here they are used, so you can see exactly how many I used. You can see that some of them were pretty good. They all have at least like 2 premium rolls, or at the very least 1 highly premium roll on an exceptional base, like a I don't know, primeval Stalker Sentinel or something. Cryptic Pandemonium Sentinel is a really good one. So down here, this is what I have now as a result of picking up 500 Sentinels, identifying all of them, keeping the very few that just naturally rolled extremely well, like tier 1 divination, tier 2 currency or something like that. I'm gonna keep that obviously and run that, or like tier 1 currency with good prefixes. I'm gonna keep that, but I'm just kind of scrolling through, and you're seeing this is the final result of me keeping the ones that rolled exceptionally well, and then recombinating a whole bunch of them, even good ones. Like I had a bunch that were tier 1 currency magic, and I still didn't keep those. I'm still not running those. I'm actually trying to recombinate, because even that isn't worth running at this point. Now, if I was doing Sentinel and Go, and it was harder for me to self-sustain Sentinels, then I would definitely just run them first. But because the kind of strategies I do enable me to be very restrictive with the Sentinels I run, I'm able to, I take good bases with already well rolled, and I still force recombinating them without using them, and basically getting these ultra premium bases on here. This is a fine example right here. Okay, this is a special base, tier 1 currency with a tier 3 quantity roll, with prefixes that aren't particularly a special, but still pretty good. Now, not 100% of these are actually ready to be ran, but most of them are. A few of them are set up that they're like special base that still needs to be recombinated in. So, you know, I'll run these. I'll start shoving these together, which I haven't even done yet. Obviously, I can still put these together. I'm going to at least have probably 30 or 40% of my value back in terms of quality Sentinel. So, oh yeah, and obviously when you're recombinating a bunch of them, they turn into these cosmic apex Sentinels, which are all worth at least 30 or 40 chaos apiece. So you can't lose money. I'm just gaining so much currency from Sentinels. But there is one downside, and it did take some time to do that. You know, I'm barely even looking at the results. I just got tons of them. I'm just constantly slamming them together with these power cores, which are dirt cheap. I do use a few of the amplifying power cores and transforming power cores, but only on a sort of the final attempt to recombinate something together really well. I'll use those premium power cores, but yeah, you guys can see it right there. I mean, this is what I'm coming out way ahead. Basically all of these Sentinels here are at least as good as the ones up here, and I have like 50% more of them. Plus, I have these Apex Sentinels that are going to sell. let me know if you guys want me to make a video on this, how I do it. I can go through the process. I'm not going to recombinate 500 of them in a video, but I could recombinate like, I don't know, 50 or 60 of them. You can see exactly how I do it. You just come out way ahead, because I suspect there are some of you guys who are watching this and you're not really running good Sentinels, and maybe you don't even know where to start. It is a little annoying to know where to start. You do actually have to go out and buy some of them, and I do have a couple live searches set up for a few of the premium ones in case they come across my radar dirt cheap. And guess what? They do, like all the time. But I'm getting even more restrictive on the ones that I buy online because I don't really need them. But still, you know, sometimes a Sentinel that's worth like 2 exalts comes across my radar at like 50 chaos. I'm gonna buy that. If it's like tier 2 expedition reward combined with tier 1 currency reward and quantity on a special base or something, and somebody puts that up for like even just 1x, I'm gonna buy it, because that's an absolutely insane Sentinel to use, and then to attempt to recombinate for a second use. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. We're done. So 17x an hour. This is the finale. The gem leveling went extraordinarily well. The final gamble for the divination cards went fairly well. And I'm well on my way to having a mirrored quiver. So there's that. All right. So what's next? What's next? I think I'm gonna revisit Legion on Legion, because some people need to see 15x an hour Legion strategies that are opening back. I'm pretty sure I can make 15x an hour on the dunes again with the way the price points are going on Legion. I still love Legions. It's one of my favorite mechanics. Most juicers like Legion for good reason. But yeah, look forward to that. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. This video is going to be one of the longer ones, but in the event that the results come out extremely well, I think it's worth putting a little bit of extra time and putting a little bit of extra detail into the findings. Again, thank you for watching. You know I'll be back soon, and I'll see you in the next video.